I want to welcome you to a short presentation of the ministry and the people involved in the daily work of the ministry and the needy children in our part of the world known as Appalachia. We need a slide of Natural Bridge up there because it's the area in which we work. And first of all, let me say this about mission work. And I usually, if I'm preaching on missions, and a lot of times I will preach a sermon, but I want to tell you the kind of message that I preach on missions. I usually use the account of the sheep and the goats in the 25th chapter of Matthew's Gospel. And let me just say about that text for your benefit that the judgment was based on the dids and the did nots. This is a hillbilly version, but it's based on the dids and the did nots. Now, if you read it, you'll see what I'm talking about. The goats and the sheep, if you'll notice, saw the same thing. The goats and the sheep, I was sick and hungry, and they saw the same thing. Now, the problem there is that they also missed the same thing. Think about it. The goats saw the least of these in need, desperate need. And the sheep saw the ones in desperate need. But the goats did not do anything about it, and the sheep did. And so that is a good reason for us to be what we call mission-minded. Now, in the church, we have people that are mission-minded. There's other people that can't see any reason why to ever support a mission. And I hope that tonight you will understand why your money is going out to the different missions. Whether you decide to include me in a budget or not, it really doesn't matter as long as you're supporting mission work somewhere, because there's a lot of important things that are going on. Now, let me tell you about our ministry. We're located about 20 miles from Natural Bridge State Park. We're in Lee County, Kentucky. Our camp is on a ridge known as Shoemaker Ridge, and that is Route 3330. As you go to Beattyville from Natural Bridge, you'll see Route 3330 turns off to the left. It's a beautiful place out where we are. There's trees and there's rocks and there's pasture fields and there's cliffs and there's streams and there's all kind of wildlife. And it's just a beautiful place. This is the lodge at our facility. And this is the first building we built except for our personal housing. We had to relocate, and so we had to make do. The building on the right-hand side of that is the dormitory, and it's connected, the two buildings are connected with a 24 by 24 covered deck. And that gives you a little bit of an idea about the building. And so that dormitory is not yet finished. The upstairs is basically finished. The upstairs has a couple of shower baths and dorm-type bedrooms. Each bedroom is air-conditioned. We do have hot water, and it's running hot water and all that stuff. But anyway, those facilities there, we host volunteers. The church that I mentioned a while ago was wanting to come and bring volunteers, and they'll need a place to stay and a place to cook and everything. We have that. Now, Lisa is the founder of Appalachian Ministries. And I took Lisa with me on a work camp back in, I think it was 88. And while we were on that work camp, and it was down in Lima, Peru, and it was a rugged place to be, and she saw firsthand a sponsorship program. Kenny Byron from St. Louis, Missouri, had started a sponsorship program for needy kids in Peru. And she saw the difference that it made in the kids' lives in Lima. In that section of Lima, Zarate was the part of the town. But anyway, they were the poorest place you'd ever see in your life. And she was so impressed with the difference that it made in the children's lives that she wanted to move to Peru and help Ken Byron in his ministry there. Well, in trying to talk her out of it, and she was still in college and young and, I didn't trust nobody around her anyway. But she wanted to go to Peru. And I said, in the process of the conversation, and I'm not going into all of it, but I said, what if you were to start a ministry to needy kids here? And we were at a place called Bear Track, Pinecrest Youth Camp, and people would bring children to the youth camp just with nothing. and we'd have to run to the dollar store, about the only place to buy anything in Beattyville, and run to the dollar store and buy the shirts and pants and shoes and things. They'd come in with just a pair of shorts on, maybe not even underwear. And so when I said that, her brain went into high gear, and she started a sponsorship program really with the kids she was already working with. And she started getting sponsors. And the program has grown to what it is today with a lot of hard work and a lot of faith. We didn't start with anything, and God has provided for us, and we keep doing the ministry. And so with the leading of the Holy Spirit and the help of a lot of sponsors and volunteers, we continue to share God's love in Eastern Kentucky with several hundred people. That's some of the kids we work with. These are just some of the kids in the pictures, and that, I don't know whether you can see that real well or not, but there's a picnic shelter and a tent put up, and we have community things and all kind of events. I'll tell you about the family. I forgot about that. Look at that. Oh my, they say it. Oh my. That picture there is the staff of Appalachian Ministries. And as you look at that, I want to tell you that the back row, left to right in the back row, is Harley and Sawyer. And then there's Haley. Now, Haley's not full-time. All of these, except a couple of them, are full-time with Lisa at her home. There's Andrea and Kennedy, and then Lisa. All right, and in the middle row there's Trinity. Trinity is Andrea's half-sister. I mentioned her. She's got the red sweater on right behind my head there. It's Andrea and Trinity are half-sisters. Trinity spends more than half of her life at Lisa's home at our place there. Then we have Sue, and she's the one that's got health problems now, but hopefully she'll get better. And then me, and then Bub is the big boy standing. And then the two little ones there are half-brothers. That's Lincoln and Sue's lap. And then I'm holding Gabe. They are partners in crime. They are tough nuts to crack, okay? And so you imagine trying to operate a place with that staff, okay? It's a miracle. One of the reasons why that we have to do this is Michelle wasn't there for the Christmas picture. This is my oldest daughter, Michelle. And Michelle has worked with Appalachian Ministries from the very start. Michelle is a certified elementary school teacher, and we work with children with learning disabilities. And I hate to say it, but some of them are like 50 or 60 on the IQ level, and that's the reason I hate to say it is probably more than I've got, but they are slow learners, and they really have a hard time in public school and special ed. And so Michelle is so good at figuring out ways that she can teach them how to be functional in society. And we have our school is in one room of the lodge, and I started out in a one-room school myself, so it's not a bad thing. We even have school desks and lockers and things like that the kids really feel like they're in school. And Michelle's really makes them feel like they're in school because she's a rough teacher. That picture there is a library, and I need to tell you the Children's Joy Foundation found us on the internet and bought that trailer in Tennessee, had it built new, and had it delivered to us to use for a library. You can see the books and the tables and things like that. And I really don't have it completely set up yet, but it is going to be, and already is, a great blessing. They had a big dedication, and so we are so thankful for the school. We have needed a warehouse for many years. I mean, we've been working out of everything that we can work out of. And most of the time when we store things, we're putting them somewhere where we need that room for something else. And so we just broke ground for a warehouse. There have been people that are committing monies to help us build a warehouse. And so a friend of mine brought his dozer over. He's dying with cancer. He got terminal cancer, and he had that dozer, and his brother helped him climb up on it and he started moving trees and clearing off a place for us to start on a warehouse. And we are so thankful that we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel on that. Christmas is the major thing that we do. Through the year, we give away food and clothing to families. We give school supplies, and I might say that when a kid is sponsored through Appalachian Ministries, we give them 5 outfits of clothing. I guarantee you that Brother Sizemore didn't have 5 outfits of clothes. I had one outfit of clothes that I took off as soon as I got home before I started the chores. And so we give them 5 outfits of clothes, shoes, socks, everything that they need, plus all the school supplies according to whatever age group that they're in. Some of them need crayons and others need major things, composition books and stuff, calculators and all of that. And we try to furnish all of their needs that they have for them going to school. But Christmas is the biggest and the most demanding thing that we do. We give each sponsored child a minimum of 7 gifts. Now, this is either new or so nearly new that you couldn't tell that it's ever been used. We don't give away trash. We want to increase these people's social level instead of decrease it. And so we give them 7 gifts, and I will tell you that we give them toys and we give them clothes, major things that we give them. And we try to get a balance there. We want them to enjoy Christmas and have toys to play with. But anyway, we have things going on most of the year. The months of January and February are not as busy, but we always try to meet the needs whenever they arise. We try to meet the needs of the people that we work with. Those family boxes that you're seeing now, those boxes have a picture of a kid on the end of that box or a family on the end of that box. And each thing that comes in that Lisa sees that would work for a child's Christmas present, she will take that and put that in their family box. And through, along about September, October, November, we start going through the stuff and putting names on it and getting it ready to wrap. And then we have volunteers. They work all the time, working at wrapping Christmas gifts, because we will usually wrap about 5,000 Christmas gifts to give away at Christmas time. We will work with from 300 to 500 kids. And then at the last minute, we'll have fire departments and police officers and social workers and preachers and everybody else call us with names of people that's not getting anything for Christmas. And so we have these family boxes, and if the kid needs something through the year, it don't have to be Christmas. If there's a need that comes up and we know about it, then we can go and get whatever is in that box. It'll take care of the need and give it to them. We're not handcuffed by anybody telling us that we can't do it. And so from the donations, and there you see the bags that's the porch of the lodge, and they just unload on that porch. And during the COVID thing, they've been so many people that's been afraid to have in, and some people are restricted. If they get in contact with us, then when they go back, they have to quarantine. And so they just back in and unload everything on the porch. And we have volunteers and family that goes through all this, and so they meet needs. And I want you to take a look at that. I built that, me and several other guys, but we built that house, and it's mostly sawmill lumber. But we built that house for Lisa to keep kids in. And all those kids you saw in the picture, plus any of the kids in the neighborhood that wants to spend the night, have got plenty of room to stay. And I want to tell you just a little bit about how God has blessed us with the children. Lisa wasn't able to have children. It took 4 miscarriages for that to get through our heads for us to accept the fact that she wasn't going to be able to have a baby. Well, one of our fellow workers had a little 6-month-old boy that was placed in her care as a foster mom. And she brought him into our living room one day in a little carrier and set him down. We just fell in love with him. He's just a little bundle of joy. And we just, all of us, he was our baby. And so everything went well until one day social workers and the judge gave him back to his mom. he was 2.5 years old. And Mom and one of her friends drove off with him, headed for Texas. She was gone for 6 months. And we got a call from her one day after 6 months. And she said, me and my 3-year-old baby at that time, my 3-year-old baby is being put out on the street, and we don't have anywhere to live. She said, you all are the only Christian people we know. Is there anything you can do to help? Me and Lisa got in a 15-passenger van and went to Sherman, Texas, and loaded them up and brought them back to Pinecrest. Okay. It took her about 6 months. She stayed at the camp about 3 weeks. It took her about 6 months to lose custody of him again. When the social workers came and took him that time, she told Lisa, said, Lisa, I'm going to give you my baby because I can't take care of him. I can't keep him. She couldn't or wouldn't, but she gave him to Lisa. Signed him over. Name's Harley. And after we got Harley, it was a few years past. And word got around, if you want to give your baby away, you can give it to Lisa. She'll take care of it. These babies that you see in the picture have been donated. They've been given to us. They're my grandbabies. I don't have grandchildren. That's bloodline. It might be a blessing, but I don't have them. And so Lisa was able to take these kids, and we're hoping this last one might be the last one. We're to get too old to chase after them. And I will tell you, most of them are drug babies, and they've got all kinds of problems, ADHD and OCD and all this different stuff going on. And so it's a three-ring circus. Anyway, we love it, and we're taking care of them. That's Harley. That's Harley. He's 27 years old now. And thank God he's down from 325 to about 275 now, okay? But he's a big bouncing baby boy. We still got him, but he's still got us. That's the way it's supposed to work. You get to the church's got you and you got the church. We got Harley and Harley's got us. I don't want to get emotional, but anyway, we are thankful that as years pass by, people somebody would tell them, hey, if they're going to take your child, give them to Lisa. You can go see it anytime you want to. Don't have to pay child support. You know, it's a blessing. And so we got all these babies. They say, I Googled poverty in Kentucky, and I think it's about 23,000 for a family of fours, poverty level, whatever. The people that we work with, a lot of them are on disability or Social Security. A lot of the grandparents are raising infant children because of the drug problem and other things. A lot of great grandparents have custody of little children, trying to take care of little children. And we work with all of these people that are so poor and so needy. And our desire is to be a beacon of light. People are so desperate, and they know if they don't have milk for the baby, they know where they can go get it, okay? Appalachian Ministries has been there for, well, we started Appalachian Ministries 88, how many years that's been. And so we know that there's numerous government programs. We don't doubt that. They get the food stamps and they get WIC and they get all this stuff. We realize that. But we really feel like there ought to be a Christian-based ministry that can bridge the gap in some of these situations and let God's light shine to the world that God's people care, okay? Well, we are trying to be the way and the truth and the life. We don't ask a lot of questions. They don't fill out applications. They don't have no paperwork. They don't have no tests to pass or anything like that. They just tell us what size the kids are. And I will tell you, if Lisa saw one of them walking across the back of this room back there, she can tell you from here what size clothes they need. I wouldn't have any idea what to go get, you know, but she can do it. We don't ask all these questions, and people are able to get to us in several ways, some through ministers and church people, some through police officers or jail employees, some through social workers, and a lot of them are the word of mouth through people that we're already working with. Say, if you need something, go see Lisa. Go see Lisa. And so I thank you for the interest that you've shown by being here tonight.